Apparently not reliable enough, Elizabeth chuffed. Now Thomas was crosser still. The snow was heavy, but Thomas arrived at every station right on time. Elizabeth was struggling to stay on the road. Her wheels did not like the slippery ice at all. When Thomas arrived at the docks to pick up Terence, he was surprised that Elizabeth had not returned. "The ship will miss the tide," said the dock manager, "and the children won't have their Christmas puddings. Thomas, go and look for Elizabeth at once." "Yes, sir," answered Thomas. "Perhaps Elizabeth isn't so reliable after all." At the pudding factory, Elizabeth was piled high with crates of Christmas puddings. "The fat controller's counting on me. I mustn't be late." She chuffed onto the icy road. Suddenly, she was on a steep hill. Her driver applied the brakes. Elizabeth slid out of control into a deep snowdrift. Poor Elizabeth. Thomas and Terence puffed through the swirling snow. They couldn't see Elizabeth anywhere. Soon they spotted her driver. He was standing by the level crossing. "Elizabeth is stuck under the snow," her driver explained. "I need help to dig her out." Terence rescued her in no time. "We'll have to hurry," said Thomas. "It wasn't your fault, Elizabeth. It's the slippery roads." Elizabeth felt much better. Thomas chuffed and puffed as fast as he could. They reached the docks just in time. The Fat Controller was delighted to see the bakery crate and that Elizabeth was safe and well. "We'll get you unloaded immediately." "Now the children will have their Christmas puddings," said Thomas. "Well done," said the Fat Controller. "Oh, thank you, Thomas," said Elizabeth. "You and I are both reliable." Thomas agreed. Harold was beginning to feel left out of the celebrations. He wished more than ever that he could help. Thomas puffed in with some passengers. "Where are you going next?" buzzed Harold. "To the vicar's fete, of course. Isn't everyone?" "Everyone except me," replied Harold. "I'm on duty." "Yes, indeed," said Thomas kindly. "Being a rescue helicopter is important work." "But no one needs rescuing," sighed Harold. Then came the surprise. Harold's pilot received an urgent call from the Fat Controller. "Pegasus is stuck in a ditch. If he doesn't get to the vicar's fete, the children will be disappointed. You must rescue him at once." "All set and ready for action," reported Harold. Pegasus, wondered Percy. That's a funny name for a horse. "It's the name of a flying horse in a very old story," explained the Fat Controller. "Flying horse!" exclaimed Percy. "Horses can't fly." He felt very clever. Harold flew to the rescue as fast as he could. "What happened?" he asked Thomas. "We were loading the cart. Pegasus wandered off into the ditch, silly horse. Now he's stuck. If you can take him, I can take the cart." "I'll put Pegasus in my sling. We need to hurry, whistled Thomas. The fete is about to begin. Soon Harold's pilot had fitted Harold's sling under Pegasus. Then Harold gently lifted him into the air and carefully carried him across the fields. When Percy saw Pegasus flying through the sky, he was amazed. Flatten my funnel so horses can fly after all. The children cheered for Harold. He had saved the day. Soon Pegasus was hitched up to his cart. The fete was a big success, and the children had a wonderful time. Harold was happy. He'd stayed on duty and had fun at the fete too. For him. You have to return to the mountain village. Some goods are needed for the festival. But all this snow makes my wheels feel chilly. Really useful engines work hard, whatever the weather. Soon Oliver was loaded and on his way. The snow was cold. It had frozen the points and diverted Oliver into the station sidings. Oh, shiver my boiler, cried Oliver. His driver applied the brakes. Is there a problem, Mr. Oliver? Yes! There is! That could have been a little smoother. Oliver felt awful. He thought the children would be upset about their snowman. Oliver's driver went for help. The Fat Controller was just leaving his office when he got the call. Meow. Duck will bring the breakdown crane first thing in the morning, he said. Oliver's driver returned and told him the news. I'll be out here all night, moaned Oliver. I'm afraid so. Luckily, the village inn had a toasty warm room for Oliver's driver. But Oliver was getting colder and colder. His fire had gone out and his funnel was covered in icicles. I was right all along. There's nothing magical about snow. Ooh. Toad was beginning to think Oliver might be right. Brrr. Next morning, the children saw the situation. Look, a little girl shouted. Our snowman has eyes in its tummy. No, it doesn't, laughed a little boy. It's Oliver. That gave the children an idea. When Oliver woke up, he was surrounded by happy children. Oliver's a wonderful snow engine, they cried. Oliver was so relieved that suddenly he didn't feel cold anymore. When Duck arrived with the breakdown crane, Oliver didn't want to leave. He was enjoying the winter festival so much. You were right, Toad, Oliver called. There are some magical things about snow. Perhaps, Mr. Oliver, shivered Toad. Definitely. The next day, the men were blasting rock. Wait for the all-clear signal, Fergus called to Bill and Ben. Do it right. There he goes again, puffed Bill. Do it right from morning till night. Keep your funnel out of our quarry, puffed Ben. The quarrymaster sent Bill and Ben to collect a rock crusher from the harbour. Fergus was left in peace with Mavis. The twins were still thinking about Fergus. He's just an old fusspot, said Bill. He's always saying, do it right. Well, the next thing he tells us to do, wheesh Bill, "We'll do it wrong!" They laughed. Ha! Bill and Ben steamed back to the quarry. The rock crusher was heavy, shaking the rails as they went. "The blasting has made that rock face unsafe," warned Fergus. "Don't go near it. Do it right." But the twins took no notice of Fergus and were very naughty. As roughly as they could, they rattled the load towards the cliff. "Look out!" cried Fergus, and he rushed forward and bumped Bill and Ben out of the way. His driver jumped to safety as the rocks began to fall, but Fergus was covered in rocks right up to his funnel. It took a long time to dig him out, and no one worked harder to help than Bill and Ben. At last, Fergus was free. Bill and Ben were ashamed. "We shouldn't have been so naughty," said Bill. "We're very sorry," added Ben. "Good," smiled Fergus. "From now on, we can all do it right together."